Well, hello, welcome back. I'm Claire, this is Purple Poppy, and today I'm on Sunday stitching. Well, this is a bit different, isn't it? Um, we've run out of Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. My box is made, as you saw last week, so now I am in filling time, basically. I'm just looking for a needle that I can put some cotton in. Okay, so what am I up to? Well, those of you that are on my Instagram, you may well have seen this piece where I patched together all these red pieces. I've since added lace and buttons, and you may also have seen this log cami of a salt. As you can see, I deliberately chose to stitch the seams on the outside just for added interest. And as you can now see, this is all to completely alter this denim jacket. So let's talk you through where I am. So on this left shoulder, I've got this lace from a top that I managed to get from the charity shop. That same top I've used all the way down the seam, okay, it's the seam of the sleeve. I've folded up the cuff and I've put a button there to hold it up. I'm not sure yet. I think I might do something weird like stitch that down so that the stud hangs down, but I haven't decided yet. And then on this right collar, I've pinned, I haven't stitched it yet, this red butterfly fabric. So as you can see, I basically just dug into everything that I had that was red and lace and went from there. I've got this little patchy piece that was already made and floating around, so I've done some real rough blanket stitch to hold that on. I haven't finished it yet. I need to finish that side. It has shut my pocket, but I'm never going to use that pocket, so it doesn't really matter. I've got a piece of this ticking type fabric running through this panel here, and as you can see, I've drawn some circles, so I need to stitch those circles on. I've got a different piece of lace extending the length on that right side, and then I've got the butterfly fabric from the collar extending the left side. Haven't extended the back yet, don't know if I'm going to. And then this left panel, as I say, is the piece that you will have seen on Instagram. I've added some doilies and 2 lots of buttons. So today I'm just going to do some stitching, so if you'd like to hang around and, well, basically watch me stitch, it's not much fun, is it? Then you are very welcome to do so. I wish I had some interesting stories to tell you while I was stitching, but I'm afraid I don't. I've been using a mixture of white and red cotton. So the reds I'm stitching in that, and the whites I've been stitching in this one. I need to come up more, don't I? You're not going to see it, I don't think. I need to double check actually. Yeah, see, I'm still not up enough really. I need to come right in and right up. So yeah, there you go. So we're just stitching away really today. So we get this needle threaded and we get this lacy bit on this right hand bottom and see where we go from there. So has anybody been having a guess what the next Roxy's stitchery is going to be? They have really moved around with this one, haven't they? I mean, we had clothing. I didn't do the clothing one, so I suppose I'm behind doing it now. Also, I was inspired to do this because, sorry, I'm swapping subjects, aren't I? But I was inspired to do this because I got all angry because the lovely Anne Brooke was having a workshop by another artist, and they were making art jackets, and I so desperately wanted to go. I've got a knot and I've not even started stitching. How ridiculous. I know I should cut my thread shorter. And I really desperately wanted to go, and in my opinion it wasn't a particularly expensive course either, but unfortunately Anne is in Yorkshire and I am in Kent, so it was going to be a pretty mammoth event to try. Now obviously you're not really going to see this because I'm deliberately using white on white. It was going to be a particularly mammoth task to be able to A, get up to Yorkshire, B, find somewhere to stay for probably what would have been 2 or even 3 nights, because it was a 2-day course. So as much as I really wanted to go, it wasn't meant to be. So I kept thinking, oh, I'll have a look around and see if I can find a man's shirt, and then I could use a man's shirt. As you can see, I'm basically just doing a back stitch here. If I could find a man's shirt that was oversized, I could use that inside out as a lining so that all the seams of the shirt matched the seams of my pretty fabrics, and I could do one on my own. And I went and hunted all around the charity shops and I couldn't find one that I felt was either the right colour base or the right weight or the right size, so that didn't happen. And then sorry, I've lost my pin cup, there it is. And then all of a sudden on YouTube up popped the lovely Corinne. We all love Corinne, don't we? And she was showing some real fabulous clothing that she'd purchased from a company, I can't remember their name now, which was basically just, I say just because that's a bit of an insult, but it was basically altered denims. So jeans and a jacket, and I thought, you know what, you've already got the ump about this Anne Brooke class that you didn't get to go to. You can't find a shirt that's right. You've got a denim jacket hanging on the hook in the hole, as my mum used to say. So why don't you just pull it out and set to? So here I am doing it, and I always do, as you know, blue. Blue tends to be my go-to colour, but I was conscious that obviously the jacket is denim. Well, denim's obviously automatically blue, and I didn't feel it would be as bold, shouty, whatever you want to say, if I did it in blue as if I did it in the red. So actually that's a lie, I didn't necessarily think I would do it in red at all. I went hunting through my stash to find what I had the most variants on, and I discovered that my biggest pile of variants was in red. So there you go. So I just purchased I didn't purchase anything, pulled out all my reds, and then I was like, okay, I knew I had a new stamp that I loved, so I dug out some red ink and I stamped on calico. That's the centre of that little cabin that you've seen. And then I was like, oh, and somewhere I've got some elongated hexy templates, so I dug those out as well, and away we went. I just started cutting and stitching and building those 2 blocks, and then I spent some time pinning it all down. As you can see, it's got loads and loads of pins in it. Every time I pick it up I stab myself. And yeah, away we went really. I just started stitching things down. I could have put it on the sewing machine. If I'd put it on the sewing machine, I'm sure that it would have been well finished by now. It would have been done in, you know, a fraction of the time. And there is the argument that it would potentially have been a little bit neater, because I'm not the neatest hand stitcher in the world. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to enjoy the process of making it. I wanted to enjoy, I don't know about every stitch, because I have stabbed myself a few times. I don't enjoy that. But I just wanted it, you know, to, when I finally wear it, be a symbol of many days of different feelings, different emotions, whatever. Because I do think, depending on the mood you're in, because I didn't have a set design, it was very, very free flow. Obviously your mood of the day does tend to depict what you do, or I find it does with me. Obviously if you're working to a set pattern, it's a bit different. Although even then I think you may choose, you know, on a particular day to do one area of it and not another, or whatever. So yeah, there you go. And this is where I am. I'm now stitching for England, as it were, to get it finished. And I did think, oh, you're doing this at the wrong time of year, Claire, because it's summer, and obviously the last thing you need in summer is extra layers, especially in the form of a coat. But we haven't had much of a summer, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. There is obviously the element of lots of thick layers here, you know, with the seams, because traditionally obviously the denim seams are 4 layers, because they do that, like, is it bed seam, where you put the 2 layers over and then you fold them over and so on. So yeah, some areas are very, very thick, quite hard to get the needle through, but again, that's all part of the experience of stitching this jacket. And you can see on this particular lace I've trimmed all the way around those circles. This is an old Laura Ashley tablecloth. So this, I've got no idea what this is. I found this as a piece of fabric, just like a large rectangle, in a charity shop, so it's probably never been used. This comes from a very old cushion, well, cushion cover. So there's all sorts in here. I've got new fabrics as well, because there is some French general pieces in that patch at the top. We've got a couple of pieces of hubby's old pyjamas in the log cabin patch that's on the back. There's new calico that I did that stamping on. So there's all sorts in here. And I think that very eclectic mix is brought together by the fact that they are all of a red variation. You see, I keep getting my threads caught on the pins, but the more I stitch, the more pins come out. So, and it's a little sense of achievement because you go, well, there's another 4 pins out. So, oh, hang on, what's happened here? We've got a little knot because that thread's not gone. So yeah, and I'm enjoying it. Do an hour or so every day, and then, you know, before you know where you are, it's done, isn't it? Just work on bite-sized pieces. You don't get anxious or overawed by it. You know, just work on a little area at a time. As I say, not the neatest slow stitching in the world, but to be honest, most of this is stitching down, and the interest is in the actual fabrics. So, I mean, this obviously was a slow stitch patch, as was that log cabin. I will stitch all round there, of course, and I'm going to do the circles on this stripe piece. In fact, I might do those circles next because there's quite a lot of pins in that panel, so I can get those out. Ah, pulled the wrong one, didn't I? I pulled the wrong side. Can I get my needle? And I know you all tell me every week, Claire, use shorter threads and you won't get all those knots. I don't know, it's ingrained in me for some reason. I just can't. But now I think I pulled this the wrong way and it has actually, oh no, oh no, oh no. Has that become a knot? If it's become a knot, I'm in trouble. I think it's become a knot. Yeah, it has. Okay, so I'm gonna have to trim this. Oh look, and I was so close to the end. How annoying is that? So I'll have to cut off that. We'll leave that dangling and I'll stitch it through in a minute. So it's about there. So if I back stitch up to there, that'll make sure that it's fine, and then I can just trim it off in a minute. So yeah, there you go. This is what I'm up to. What I was saying before I started talking about this was, has anybody had any guesses about what the girls are going to do next? Because they really have been all over the place, haven't they, this time? We've just done the box. Prior to that, we did a bag. Prior to that, I think, was the clothing. Well, actually, it wasn't clothing, was it? It was something wearable. Because a lot of people did bracelets and things. What else was there? Oh, there was the clutch. So the clutch, the box, something wearable. The clutch, the box, something wearable, and the bag. Is that 4? Have I missed one? I think I've missed one because I think there's been 5 prompts, and I think this one that's coming up now is going to be the last prompt of this set. So I think I've missed one, but yeah, because they've obviously sort of darted all over the place with this, don't know what this last one will be or where they'll go with it, or even if it'll be something that I want to do. It might be that I carry on with my jacket. We'll see, because obviously next Wednesday, or this Wednesday coming, the prompt will be out and I'll know what it is. So there you go. Right, I feel like I keep slipping off camera, but it's quite difficult when you're stitching. And I don't tend to move my camera. My camera's, or the pole thing for my camera constantly stays in the same place. So I just take my phone in and out of it. So you can see it's not too bad. It's almost a straight line. So when I move around on my desk, I have to try and stay in the same place because my camera's in the same space. There we go. So that piece of lace is now attached, and I've come up, look, just about an inchish from the bottom, but then I've increased it by about 2.5–3 inches, so I haven't lost any of the length at all. I've actually gained. So I'm just going to thread that piece through where I had to cut it off, and then I'm going to break out some embroidery thread, and we will look at doing them circles. What else have I got to tell you? Not much really. I've almost finished the Friends journal, Book of Friends journal that I was working on. Again, I showed some images on Instagram of that. So as I say, that's almost finished. So we'll get a flip through of that soon. So you can see that, and because of that, yesterday I did a infill video because like the Roxy's Journal Stitchery, I have run out of, there you go, it's pretty, I like that. So now I need to find some red to do my circles in my embroidery box. I've run out of Journal Monthly, so I'm starting a new journal there. Sheepy's 192, yep, that's going to work. So that one's a bit too pink. I don't want pink, I want red. Oh, there's another. Look, I've got some alts here with, oh no, that's pink, that's not red. Okay, so let's have a little look here. So I'm thinking this one here I'm going to do as a full circle, but this one I'm only going to do on the red, and then that one will be a full circle, and this one will only be on the red. So I'm only going into the denim in those two. So we'll get this cut up and threaded, and away we go. Away we rock and roll. I'm doing this now, and I'm wondering, in my tiny little mind, oh, excuse me, I should get out more. Yeah, no, I'm going to do it. But I was just starting to wonder if maybe I should have done it in white. I've realised the reason this needle is so hard to thread is because it's bent. So the way you're holding it is not necessarily where the hole is, if you know what I mean. Right, so let's go again then. I think I'm going to start right down the bottom here. And what I don't know this time, I think actually what I'm going to do is that thing that I always do, whereby I do like a bit of a running stitch, and then I might do you know, now that I'm doing this, this is looking much more pink than red. I'm umming and carrying on, which means there is a high possibility that this is going to get pulled out. We'll see how I feel once I've done it. I've been very good, not had any new thread for a long time. Mind you, I did have quite a lot, did I not, at Christmas? See, so I'm going to go down there, and then yes, I know. Funny enough, I was watching somebody the other day. Who was that? But they also had thread that was technically much too long. I think it might have been Catherine or not. I don't know. Doesn't really matter, does it? But or maybe I'm saying about the white, maybe I feed white through. What do you think? Or do you just think I'm totally raving bonkers? Technically, I don't think it's really, but oh, Claire, you knew I was doing that, didn't you? Why didn't somebody say something? You could have shouted and said, Claire, that thread's at the top, not the bottom. But I tell you what I was surprised at, very surprised at, and that was the cost of these things. Absolutely amazing. Now, I'm not saying by any means, they're not worth the money and that people shouldn't charge. a fair price for their work, because they are all, you know, hand stitched, and as we know, that does take quite some time to do, and is worthy, you know, of payment. It was just, wow, bit of a shock, I think, and yet I don't really know why, because I didn't have an expectation of how much they should have been. Now look, I'm doing too much talking and not enough thinking here. So, I think it's time for quiet stitching for a minute. Especially as I'm rattling on about nothing anyway. Now I split the thread. That's better, right? And then what I want to do now is I want to go into the one that I'm going to do the whole circle of. There we go. Right, Claire, concentrate. And maybe do several stitches. It does look pink, you know. The more I look at it, the more I feel it looks pink. Perhaps it's just because that's a very dark red. Who knows? I haven't got any Suffolk puffs or anything like that on here as yet. Not sure at this stage whether or not I'm going to add any. But I definitely wanted buttons, and I have bizarrely cut a couple of poinsettias, well it might be bizarre to you, out of an old Christmas tablecloth that I've got, because I've tried to put on here only things that I absolutely love. And I absolutely love Christmas. I'm a big kid, so the poinsettias were definitely going on. This Laura Ashley tablecloth comes, you know, at a time when I don't particularly like the Laura Ashley style now, but there was a time when I did, and I wasn't in a position to afford it. So that's sort of a nod to how my life has changed. So yeah. this lace I absolutely adore. It's obviously an age thing, but I've started to adore my garden. And I've got do I want to tie that? I am going to tie that off, because if I stretch that up there, which I would do on a normal piece of slow stitch, you're going to get your finger or whatever caught in it trying to put it on and off, so we don't want extra pieces like that in something that's wearable. So where's my end? Here. Coffee time. And you can't only see them, well you can see them, but you've obviously got the black pen line, so we need to iron that out, and then we'll be able to see where we're going. And you'll see I started under the fabric rather than in the jacket, so that's where my sorry, I keep flicking it all round, don't I? I'm probably driving you insane. That's better. Now I can. That's better. I've realised it's because I need to stitch from the right. That's why I need to constantly move my piece around, so that I am stitching from the right. I don't know why. Yes, I am a bit mad, but if you hadn't realised that before, right. So now we're coming into this full circle. Again. Okay. So it's really complicated, obviously. I mean, it's just stitching. I did feel like I spent quite a lot of time auditioning my pieces. I mean, I knew the pieces that I wanted to use, but auditioning where they were going to go, I did feel like, see, this is really quite hard to get through there. Okay, now we're going to be going all the way into here, so I need to be really quite careful with regard to where that black line is. As I say, the pocket is now stitched shut, but it doesn't bother me. I would never use a pocket. I'm sure if you wanted to do something like this, and you did want to keep the pocket, you could get something under there and just, you know, stitch the top layer. It would also actually make it easier to stitch, because you'd only be going through, you know, your top fabric and one layer of denim, rather than when you go through the pocket, you're obviously going through 2 layers. So yeah, it would definitely make it a little bit easier to stitch. There we go, we're nearly at this one. And I'm just going to pop down there, pull that out, like that. So now I've got my 4 circles, or bits of circles, but obviously there's not enough stitching there to hold that down, so I may need to put some lace or something inside those circles. I'm not quite sure what to do with them yet. So this is where we go, right, well we'll move to another area. So, which of course is very easy to do. So, close that off. Where do we want to go now? Ow! Pin. Okay, I suppose I could work on this again and with some more odd blanket stitch. Or I'm wondering, do I want it? Do I actually just want to stitch it down almost invisibly? So again, I'm not sure about that, so I'm going to leave it alone. That's all stitched. I suppose I could work on the collar, couldn't I? So this is basically turned applique, as you can see, which is why it's got so many pins in it. So I'm just gonna pull off some thread and I'm gonna start working on this collar. And it's interesting because I find that now I'm working quite methodically, because I've started at the bottom, I've moved up to the top, all in the same area, which I wasn't doing before. I was jumping around to the areas that called to me, but this is much more methodical. Oh goodness me. However, being blind as a bat doesn't help you thread the needle. It's probably one of the reasons that I have it so long in the first place. Right, I'm going to start under this corner here. So I'm going to get underneath and come out of the actual fabric. Now, I tell you, every time we do this, I am no stitcher. I don't know if what I'm doing is horrendous for people that are stitchers to watch, because, you know, I'm making all sorts of mistakes, but this is how I do it. So I just pick up a bit of that under fabric, whatever the under fabric is, harder obviously because it's denim, and then pick up the top fabric. I'm going to take that pin out so I've got a little bit more flex, and this has been folded under since last night, so it's got a little bit of memory, which should help. Okay, a little bit of denim. I'm going to keep stabbing my finger. I can feel it coming. I've already lost a load of skin on the end there. So I think with turned applique, what you're supposed to do is turn it under with your needle. I actually sat and just rolled it under with my look at it sticking on the pins. Rolled it under with my fingers last night whilst I was waiting for hubby to finish work. So, but it's under, the edge is under, so that we've got a nice neat edge, which is a little bit odd because all of the other ones are deliberately torn edges, but I just thought because it was on the collar and we had this line of gold stitching and this seam here, that I just wanted it to be a straight neat line. Don't know why, just how I felt. So there you go. But all of the rest of it is obviously torn and raggy, and the seams are, ow, the seams are inside out and all of the rest of it. Boo's upstairs with hubby, so you can't hear her snoring today, although I'm pretty sure she is snoring on the bed. It's been raining, so there's no children playing in the street today. Oops. Because it's still, you know, half-term holidays. In fact, I think some of them have got Monday as well, because it's a teacher training day. It is stiff stitching, I've got to be honest. It's not kind to the hands, stitching into the multi-layers of denim. But look, I mean, we've come a good few inches already, so it's not horrendous. And I'm sort of going back to pick up the denim and then forward into the fold of the butterfly fabric. But seriously, if you want stitching lessons, you're at the wrong channel. I think I'm okay giving stitching ideas, design ideas, but not stitching lessons by any means. Been a short week, hasn't it? I think even other countries have had a holiday on Monday, because I think it was Memorial Day, wasn't it? And obviously we had a bank holiday here in the UK, so it's been a short working week. I think The knack to this is getting your needle at the right angle. You're not trying to go through the denim, you're just trying to pick some up. Yeah, that's much better. It's much gentler on my little fingy. So, ow. Right, this is really starting to hurt my poor little fingernail, so I think I'm going to have to stop. So, where's my needle? I'm just going to poke my needle through the denim part so it's obvious. So there you go then. What did we do today? We did some of the collar because I'm a wimp. We did our circles and I need to think about how to finish them, and obviously iron off the rest of the black lines. And we did this little lace extension. So as always, try and fold it like that so you can sort of see. As always, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found some fun and inspiration. Stay safe. I'll see you very soon. And hopefully next Sunday we'll have a whole new project. See you soon. Bye for now.